I'm Aaron M. Wilson.
Welcome to our first broadcast of Mason Cable News. Today is Wednesday, February 11th, and as you already know, it is homecoming week. Aaron, are you enjoying homecoming thus far?
For the most part, yes I am, but I haven't had a chance to go to any of the events this week, but I'm sure we will have a chance before the week is out.
Oh yeah, you definitely will.
Now, with homecoming week and classes in full swing, we know things can get really hectic. There are several more events this week that we do not want you to forget about. For instance, tonight in President's Park at 7 p.m., PAC will be hosting S'more for You, S'more for Me. So go out and grab a yummy treat. Tomorrow in North Plaza from 7 to 10 p.m., there will be ice skating. And on Friday at 8 p.m. in the Hub Ballroom, the annual lip sync contest will take place. Saturday will be the conclusion of the whole matter with the women and men's basketball game and annual homecoming block party.
Wow, there's so many things to do this week at Mason. I don't know how I'm going to make them all. In other Mason-related news, this year's GMView yearbook are now taking orders as well as pictures for seniors and organizations. For more information, check out their Facebook and Twitter page. Also, the GMView are taking submissions until the 20th of February. So if you've written a scholarly research paper, be sure to submit it by the deadline.
Now, speaking of deadlines, we heard about a group of student engineers here at Mason that when their deadline came for their senior project, they shocked the entire Mason community with their invention. MCNews brought them into the studio to hear firsthand how they did it.
We saw a science experiment called Rubik's Tube, and basically it was an experiment where a guy took two speakers on the side and propane going through a tube, lit it, and you kind of saw when the music would play, you see the flames dancing around. So we kind of figured if sound does have an effect on the flame, what can we do to make it actually go out?
Yeah, so that's basically the concept. The Rubik's Tubes are the first, like, oh wow, fire has a huge, it's really manipulated by sound waves, and you get to see, like, let's say you play a note, you get to see the whole wave just standing like that. If you look at the Rubik's Tube, and we also ran across what DARPA did. DARPA, they had these huge tubes, and they put a chemical and they lit it on fire. And then when we saw that it actually go out, we're like, wow, they have a lot of money and they did that, but that just goes to show that's possible. So that really inspired us, like, hey, look, this is possible. I asked him, I was like, do you think we should go with this? He's like, yeah. We originally were like a group of 5 people, but slowly, people were like, I'm not sure about this, I don't think it's gonna work, I don't want to fail this class. And then, and I guess we just stuck together. We've known each other since like fall of 2010, and we just had this chemistry built along the way, and we just like, let's just do it, let's just see what happens. And Professor Mark was one professor that was always there, like, really open-minded for us, and just like, yeah, just try it out, just if it fails, just make it a research project, and that just gave us the confidence we needed.
Yeah. I mean, the idea itself has been around since the late 1800s. The idea of sound putting out a fire, but no one's really put it into practical use. So we figured if the technology is going to happen, why not us be the two to make it happen?
Wow, that was a pretty cool invention. Can you imagine in a few years, if fire extinguishers were keyboards or other instruments, everybody would be a musician?
Indeed.
Kind of cool.
Now, everyone knows that the George Mason Communication Department always have events to remember. And on Saturday, February 28th, Mason students are welcome to join other students and community members and supporters of healthy dating relationships for a 6-mile race here in Fairfax. It is the 5th year of the race titled No Fear in Love. This will be taking place in walking distance from Mason's campus at University Mall. The developer, Karen Bontrager, Bachelor in Interdisciplinary Studies program, alum with a concentration in communication, developed the race 5 years ago in an effort to raise awareness for domestic violence and to promote healthy relationships. The title of the race, No Fear in Love, reflects the theme of the event, which is explained by the vision mission statement, which says, quote, "The idea behind this is that experiencing fear is an early indication that something might be awry or unhealthy in a relationship. Registration fees are $25 before the race or $30 the day of the race, with proceeds benefiting the No Fear in Love 6-mile race fund. The objective of the fund is to raise $9,000 in order for a teen dating abuse survivor to attend college at George Mason University. You can help support this cause without having to participate in the race by making a donation online. To donate or learn more, check out the race's website at nofearandloverace.org.
Wi-Fi here at George Mason University is always on the fritz. And finally, they're taking action. Effective on March 8th, David Allen, the Director of Networking, Engineering, and Technology, and his team will be adjusting the Wi-Fi to reduce the number of service set identifiers. These identifiers, or SSIDs, are being reduced to make it easier for devices to connect. By having multiple connections, they tend to confuse our devices as to what it should connect to. There will be 3 SSIDs that will remain: Mason Secure, Mason, and EDU Roam. Mason Secure is the 802.1x authentication that is application specific. This is the SSID that students, faculty, and staff will use for their cell phones and computers. Mason will be used for bringing your own device, guests, and printers. EDU Roam is an SSID that is accessible on other college campuses. Mason students who have EDU Roam will be able to maintain connection on other college campuses. With everyone using Mason Secure, it could be assumed that this will bottleneck and slow the system down. However, Elizabeth Dorian, a freshman senator in student government, has clarified that, quote, the network will be strong enough to maintain it. Also, since there will be only a limited number of SSIDs, it will be easier for the IT department to address issues, end quote. Students are encouraged to visit itservices.gmu.edu to find resources about connecting their devices to campus SSIDs.
Now, Leah, do you remember your freshman year?
I do. There were some ups and some downs, but I'm glad I am where I am now.
Oh, good. I hope you weren't depressed, because freshman depression is on the rise at various colleges and universities. In a recent study, there is a high number of first-year students who are feeling depressed. In a survey of previous years, students beginning their first year of college felt overwhelmed and depressed. According to Joe Buglewitz of the New York Times, the survey was more than 150,000 students nationwide. In previous years, the depression rate has been 6.1% in the fall of 2014. Now that rose to 9.5%. The rise in depression is said to come from homework and other commitments, which rose from 27.1% to 34.6%. The Cooperative Institutional Research Program at the University of California's Los Angeles Higher Education Research Institution did this study. Survey results suggest that students spend more time on academics than on socializing with, which results in higher stress levels. Author of the study, Kevin Egan, had this to say, and quote, students may be getting the message that they have to take the last year of high school more serious to get into college. So they are coming in with greater levels of anxiety. There may need to be a balance that students need to have at some point, and helping students achieve that balance will be more of a concern on colleges and university campuses.
Health is a big factor in whether or not a student is successful at school. An unhealthy student leads to an unhealthy grade point average. Depression, as well as measles, are our worst fear for now. With flu season still rampant, this is also an opportunity for other viruses to appear across our nation, the measles virus being one of them. It recently started in California, and many are concerned as to whether or not to get vaccinated for the virus. As for students here at George Mason University, there are more than 32,000 students who attend our institution. According to Student Health Services, approximately 7% of them have not met the university and state requirement for the measles vaccination. Moreover, out of that 7%, less than 1% has medically waived the requirement of a vaccination. Those that cannot be immunized due to medical circumstances rely on herd immunity, basically immunity in the majority of the individuals, to help protect them from the disease. For more information about a vaccination, be sure to visit Student Health Services in Sub 1.
Social justice movements have been on the rise since 2012. Civil rights activists everywhere have been taking charge on different issues. It comes to no surprise that now student activist groups are being formed and taking charge. Colleges and universities across Virginia are joining together to form the Virginia Power Shift. Now, the Virginia Power Shift is a conference that will take place this Friday, February 13th through Sunday, the 15th at the University of Mary Washington. Students will attend the workshop that will help tone their activist skills and leadership abilities. For more information on this conference, contact GMU's Student Power.
Being a student activist can be pretty hard. But when you have the determination and dedication, you will succeed. Mason's own student activist, Christina Lee, has been very busy so far. Lee was the reason why the film, Dear White People, was brought to Mason. And always, as always, Mason Cable News was there to get the inside scoop.
George Mason is known for their various cultures here on campus. During the month of February, it comes as no surprise that we celebrate African American culture. On the 5th of February, the Mason community gathered in the JC Cinema to screen the movie Dear White People. The film was brought here by student activist Christina Lee.
I wanted to bring this film to Mason because I think this film really focuses on kind of dealing with issues that a lot of college-aged kids and young professionals deal with, because it kind of gets into more of how we see racism today, how it's more covert rather than overt racism. So it's not somebody burning a cross outside of your dorm room, but it's somebody saying something like, oh wow, you speak really eloquently for a black person. And I think in this environment, especially here at Mason, you know, a lot of students encounter racism or racial undertones in a lot of things that they experience in their day-to-day life, and kind of realize that that's not just their reality, but it's common within the black community, it's common within other communities of color. And I feel like the film actually helps to show like kind of how to deal with some of that, or kind of how to wrestle with some of that like internally as well.
After the movie was over, Professor Mark Hobson and Gay Wald led an intellectual, steamy discussion with students here at George Mason based on the different stereotypes seen in the film. But of course, MCNews was there to have a conversation with the professor ourselves.
I think it was a good idea. It's always a good idea to bring in topics and issues that get students talking about race and culture and difference and diversity. Without these films, we probably wouldn't have the conversation. So it was important to get different students in representing different disciplines to engage in dialogue.
Yeah, I would just add, this is the power of a film, to give people a chance to talk about things, talk about the film, to talk about how it made them feel, to talk about what they identified with, what they didn't identify with. So everyone should see this film, and more events like this are great.
One of the things that was mentioned earlier is the fact that art allows us to envision a new reality. And so looking at the problems, looking at the conflict allowed us to strategize over how we might resolve this. And the conversation is just the beginning. There's much more to come. Yes, this film might have contributed to dialogue as a start, but we need to continue this dialogue by bringing in more prompts and more sources of communication.
Also, I think this was an amazing opportunity for Mason students to come see a film that's pretty recently out of Sundance, independent movie that they might not have had a chance to see when it was, you know, in its commercial release. To have a chance to see it, talk about it, it's a great opportunity.
For more MCN News, I'm Kenneth Sasu Chimisi.
Were you able to see it?
Unfortunately, no, I wasn't, because I found out at the last second that I was playing, and then, moreover, I found out like the day after it finished screening, so I was a little bit annoyed, because I'm like, darn, I want to see that movie.
I know, me too. It was crazy as it sold out so fast. Like, people were filling up the theater. The next day I had something else to do, but hopefully they'll bring it again. Maybe Christina Lee will bring it back. I don't know.
Or perhaps it'll be on Netflix.
Yeah, or Netflix. Well, we are going to take a short commercial break, but don't touch that dial, because after this break, we are going to have our sports update with Brenton Randolph.
You're listening live to Improv for Mason here on WGMU Radio, heard WGMUradio.com.
You know, it wasn't my idea.
Today's show with our special guest interview for this team in the new conference.
Welcome to a special
It's been
edition of the
a
First
great
Pick.
transition for me personally. I love Mason.
The very talented David Keckner.
I'm great. How are you doing?
Reed, Jonah, it was a pleasure having you on the show today.
I did.
I'm Ben Simpson. On the phone today, we have Drew McGarry, successful author, writer. You're listening to WGMU Radio on WGMUradio.com.
Welcome, Mason, to your Mason Cable News Sports Update. As Leandra and Aaron mentioned, this is homecoming week, and we are excited to see what our Patriots are going to do. When talking about Mason athletics, you can't forget to mention the Green Machine, George Mason's athletic pep band. We were able to go behind the scenes and talk with Doc Nix about the band and more.
Every time we go to a basketball game, they're there not just cheering on the Mason Patriots, but they're getting the crowd hyped with their amazing songs. The George Mason Green Machine is one of Mason's pride and joy, and band director Doc Nix surely agrees.
This journey's been about all of us, and the talents of so many different people, working on the band, people who've been in the band, people bringing their creativity, people bringing their dedication. There was a great foundation to start on when I got here. The hard work of the basketball team that made just kind of made the whole idea make sense to a lot of people and make all the gears work. Leading from that all the way to now, it's like, it's good to feel like a lot of our choices have paid off and the recognition comes in, and they can hear from me all day long about what I think and like how much I like it and how proud I am. But now when the university recognizes, when the NCAA recognizes, when a lot of people in the press, we have our viral videos, our one Rage Against the Machine. YouTube, it's got about 2.5 million, but combine that with all the Facebook posts, it's up around 22 million views. Getting the Green Machine out all over the world, getting George Mason's name out all over the world. So just seeing all that come together, I'm so thankful that, like I said, I can say all day long what I think of it, but everyone gets to see what everyone thinks of it, and I'm just we're very blessed that it comes out in such clear and strong recognition like that.
The Green Machine always looks forward to performing at homecoming, and this year is nothing different.
We got party outside, we got a party inside, we got 2 basketball games that day. I always have old friends show up, fans I haven't seen in a long time, former students, former members of the band show up. Some people jump in and even play with us, so it's a good party, it's a good day. Well, in terms of new music, some of the things that you've heard in the last couple weeks, put a new Bruno Mars in, we put Foo Fighters in, Imagine Dragons, and then there's some things that you're not going to know until it hits, so that's why you got to show up and find out.
Make sure you come out to the homecoming game this week to see the amazing band and much more. For more MCN News, I'm Kenneth Sasu Chimisi.
On to things more sports related. The Mason baseball team will have their first home game on the 27th against Cornell. Last year, the team won the A10 tournament. Mason Wrestling is doing an outstanding job as they are 3-3 in the conference. Their next match will be against Lehigh in Pennsylvania. The top wrestlers this season are Jake Kettler and Greg Flournoy. This Saturday for homecoming, make sure you go to cheer on our Lady Patriots at noon and our men at 4. To become more active at the games, check out the Patriot Platoon. Now, for a short commercial break, then entertainment news with Najina Jerome.
You're listening live to Improv for Mason here on WGMU Radio, heard WGMUradio.com.
It wasn't my idea.
Today's show with our special guest interview for this team in the new conference.
Welcome to a special
It's been
edition of the
a
First
great
Pick.
transition for me personally. I love Mason.
The very talented David Keckner.
I'm great. How are you doing?
Reed, Jonah, it was a pleasure having you on the show today.
Hey, dude.
I'm Ben Simpson. On the phone today, we have Drew McGarry, successful author, writer. You're listening to WGMU Radio on WGMUradio.com.
Thinking of studying abroad? Consider spending a semester at Mason's new campus in Korea. Enjoy a unique experience where you will be taught by main campus faculty and will learn about one of the most important regions in the world. Students pay the same tuition as they do on main campus, and housing costs significantly less. Join the Office of Global Strategy each Tuesday from 12 to 1 p.m. in the Johnson Center Gold Room for an information session, or visit masonglobal.gmu.edu to learn more.
Cable News. I am Najina Jerome. On February 23rd at 8 p.m., George Mason University will welcome American actor, director, and author George Takei for an event titled An Evening with George Takei, which will take place in the Center for the Arts Concert Hall. Takei, who is most known for his role as Hikaru Sulu, helmsman of the USS Enterprise in the television series Star Trek, has also become a major social media mogul, gaining over 8 million likes on Facebook after joining only 4 years ago. Not only will Takei be speaking about these two topics in relation to how he rose to stardom, but he will also share the story of his family's forced internment as Japanese Americans during World War II. Takei will also open up about his involvement in fighting for LGBTQ rights, such as marriage equality in America. This event is a must-see not only for Trekkies, but also for anyone who is looking for a speaker who will inspire and empower others to beat the odds and make change happen. The Vagina Monologues by Eve Ensler will be performed at George Mason University on February 13th and Valentine's Day, February 14th at 8 p.m. The Vagina Monologues is a celebration of female sexuality and all its complexity and mystery, and is the foundation of the V-Day movement. The V-Day movement is a global activist movement to stop violence against women and girls. V-Day is a catalyst that promotes creative events to increase awareness, raise money, and revitalize the spirit of existing anti-violence organizations. This movement generates broader attention for the fight to stop violence against women and girls, including rape, battery incest, female genital mutilation, and sex slavery. The proceeds from the Vagina Monologues at George Mason University will benefit Mason's Victims of Violence Fund, which provides medical assistance, transportation, counseling, and safety services for student survivors of sexual assault, stalking, and dating/partner violence. Chris Brown is said to be in legal issues, one of the causes for the postponement of his concert with Trey Songz at the Verizon Center in Washington, D.C. on February 22nd. These legal troubles include ignoring community service hours and obligations, disregarding probation orders, being around 2 separate nightclub shootings, and leaving the country without the authority from the court. It is said that Brown's probation officer and his judge feel that he is more focused on his career than his obligations to the law and the community. Not only people surrounding the D.C. area were affected, students who attend Mason were also troubled by this pushback. When asked about how the tour affected him, Jeremy Stokes, a freshman student, responded, quote, "When Chris Brown said he had to push back his tour dates, I was upset. Him rescheduling the tour wasn't a big problem, but it created an inconvenience because I had taken days off and things like that in order to go, and he pulled out last minute. It just seems like something he should have gotten taken care of way before he made the tour dates. Hopefully when he does announce the new dates, he'll give us fans something extra for having to want to see him," end quote. Malachi Kareem, also a freshman, retorted with, quote, "I bought 2 tickets to the concert for a friend of mine and to attend for his birthday around November. At the time, I was not aware of the controversy that surrounded Chris Brown and his parole. After hearing the news via Instagram, my friend and I were extremely disappointed. My initial thought is why his manager or PR team didn't advise him to finish his sentencing before scheduling a tour. How will he ease the disappointment of his fans? After this experience, I'm not sure if I will even purchase any more of his tickets. This has been a huge headache," end quote. If students are seeking more information about this or just want to keep an eye out for when Chris Brown and Trey Songz will hold their concert, they can visit blackamericaweb.com. And we will be right back after a short commercial break.
You're listening live to Improv for Mason here on WGMU Radio, heard WGMUradio.com.
You know, it wasn't my idea.
Today's show with our special guest interview for this team in the new conference.
Welcome to a special
It's been
edition of the
a
First
great
Pick.
transition for me personally. I love Mason.
The very talented David Keckner.
Great. How are you doing?
Reed, Jonah, it was a pleasure having you on the show today.
Thanks, dude.
I'm Ben Simpson. On the phone today, we have Drew McGarry, successful author, writer. You're listening to WGMU Radio on WGMUradio.com.
So, what is everybody's plans for Valentine's Day?
Oh, well, I guess the question at this point is homecoming or bae. I know a lot of people are against that word. But seriously, I feel like I have other plans, but I am a senior, so I'm conflicted. I'm like, should I go or should I hang out with my boyfriend? I don't know.
Aww.
You could do both, though. I heard that through the grapevine that you can get lower price tickets for a significant other on that day. So, if you're a student. What about you guys?
Well, I'm single.
Third.
So I will definitely be at the tailgate having my Patriot pride and my love for Mason will be showing in my green and gold. So you will catch me at the game, you will catch me at the tailgate, and I will be very happy to be there.
Are you guys excited about that halftime show? I heard it's going to be crazy.
I hope it is. I really hope it's going to be an interesting time. The game's this Saturday, right?
Yeah.
All right, I will make sure to go because, I guess my patriotism to this school depends on it.
I know. No one will tell me who the halftime show performer is, so I'm hoping I can get the leaks.
That's classified information.
I know.
You should just let it be a surprise, though.
The patience that requires. No, but genuinely, it's going to be a great surprise. I heard.
Well, I'm really excited to find out who won Mason Majesty.
Ooh, that's going to be fun.
There was a lot of great talents. I'm really excited to see who wins.
Oh, cool. Who cheered the loudest?
I don't know. Everyone had a lot of pride for who they were supporting.
When did it take place, though?
It took place Monday.
Monday, okay.
At Dewberry. If you missed out, always next year.
Yeah, unless you're a senior.
Unless you're senior. Better luck next time, though.
I know.
Well.
Come back as an alum.
Yeah.
Yeah, come back as an alum. Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in to today's MCNews broadcast, sponsored by Mason Korea. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook at Mason Cable News. For MC News, I'm Aaron M. Wilson.
I'm Leandra Jones.
I am Brenton Randolph.
And I am Najina Jerome.
Until next time, Mason.